We're talking about Regip Assim and so on, those kind of people who came over, either like the Lebanese peddlers who came over in the late 19th century, or started coming in the late 19th century, escaping the Ottoman draft and that kind of thing, and they would become peddlers because they didn't have the language, and they roved over both America and Canada, having a very difficult time because they had to be self-employed. So it was like the Jews, who were discriminated against, they had to be self-employed. And so Regip Assim, I remember, because I spent a lot of time with him, said how they had come over after this 1912, I think it was an abortive revolt against the Ottomans in Albania, and they had to be self-employed, so the only thing they could do was to start making candy. And I think we have one of his candy making pots still. But they started making candy, and then they eventually established this thing called High Park Sweets, which is right near High Park on Bloor. He was an older, much older man at the time, small, kind of paper-skinned man, and he had a wonderful library. I mean, he was always lending me big books, and he knew all sorts of things. He read all sorts of stuff, and he would help us out financially all the time because we only had this little collection fund. And I said, this is in the very beginning. There are other things we could talk about later, but in the beginning, I mean, he would always sort of, bail us out. He'd reach in his pocket if we were short of money, which we presumably were, because there wasn't a very large pool in our little sort of Sunday collection, as it were. And we had to do it Sundays because Fridays were too kind of impossible, and we didn't have cars necessarily, and it was a long stretch away, and public transport, no subways, etc. So Regip Assim, I must say, was a remarkable figure, very quiet, very self-effacing, but a very sweet fellow, and really a great man.